Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And Nick, how was your week?
It was good. I don't think there was anything crazy. The foundation in Nathan's house is settling, so we did have my dad and Casey and Nathan trying to fix this house, and I don't know. We'll see. If I fall through the floor, I fall through the floor, I guess. But
Okay.
that's about it. That's the only crazy thing that
Okay.
happened this week. What about
Well,
you?
nothing much. Just another uh week of work as it normally is. So, but we're gonna try not to forget. Well, we're gonna do it now because this way we don't forget. Um, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Yeah.
Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Lunar New Year, whatever you celebrate. We're all about
Happy
fun around here.
holidays.
I don't know if this is gonna sit on my headset or not, but maybe it'll work.
Or even if you
There we
are a
go.
Scrooge,
Even if
we
you're a
still wish you a
Scrooge.
happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays. We'll see if this stays on the whole time. This will be interesting. Anyway, yeah, happy holidays, guys. We talked about I put up my Christmas decorations like right after
Mhm.
Halloween, so it's we're to this point now, which is always fun. So,
Yeah.
um, I will say it hasn't really felt like Christmas. Like I don't know
hmm
why it just hasn't. I don't know. It just hasn't felt any different, lately. I don't know how
I
you feel about that,
so
but
I've been saying that the last couple years, and I think it's literally just because we don't have
is it
kids
just
and we're not
yeah,
a kid.
that makes sense.
And it's a very different holiday if you are a kid or have a kid.
Yeah.
Like it's just different. And so I think that some of that comes from just being an adult.
Yeah, that's true. Like um being an adult is boring.
Yeah. Like we don't have kids, so we don't, really hang stockings or open presents immediately on Christmas morning. Like there's not a lot of the things I think that you think of when you think of like an American traditional Christmas is not like we're not doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
That's probably the same thing that I deal with, so that makes total sense. Um anyway, we do oh, there it is. We had two comments this week. So I don't know if you
Ooh.
saw anything. We did have
Mm-mm.
uh Mizzou AV, which it showed up as Austin, which is my little brother's name. So I'm guessing that's who it is. I haven't actually asked him if he's the one who's commenting, but
Mm-hmm.
he was the one who made the comment about Shikani that I wasn't sure. Um, they said you
Yes.
were asking about the example from school is why they commented that. Because I asked like what teacher used an
Oh.
example or whatever from school. So
Mhm.
that there's that.
Did your brother have the same teachers?
Yeah,
It's probably him.
yeah. Because we didn't. Well, when we got to that point in school, like middle school, high school, he
Mm-hmm.
we were living in a smaller town, so we didn't have there wasn't like a lot of teachers.
Yeah.
It was just a few of them. So we also had another comment, and I
Mm.
um, crazy box and some numbers 7326 whatever. Anyway,
We have
they
a lot of mystery
they
commenters.
said this is painful to watch. Not obviously pretty battles. There was a lot of stuff going on. Why the war happened? Basically, they're just saying like. And their last thing on this is how is it possible to be so uninformed about the most consequential events in our nation's history? Okay, so bro, dude, person, um, I got a couple things to say. One, you obviously have not watched any of these because we don't claim to be experts.
It's
Um,
in our
it's in
title.
the title. It's
We're
called
very insufficient
Insufficient.
at
Man,
this.
come on. So like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. This is and I'll say this again because we probably could do better about saying like what the podcast is. Basically, like we do the bare minimum. This is like if Kevin and I were having coffee and talking about random things,
Yeah.
and each week is a different thing. So we're not going to go in depth.
No.
Like I have a master's degree, but it's not in the Civil War.
No.
So I'm absolutely not going to go super in depth. I'm going to say, okay, this happened, this happened. I don't really know why, but it
Yeah.
happened. So cool. And then we
We
continue on with our
we
conversations.
also spent 15 minutes talking about a 4-year war. Like, of course we're
I
not going to
know.
hit everything. Not going to happen. And yeah,
Mhm.
I don't research a ton. Like, there's other YouTube channels. If you want to go watch somebody that actually has the facts right, you go watch them. We're just having fun. Like, it's in the title, insufficient, and we totally
Yeah,
are. And like, so
100%. We're so bad.
yeah. So thanks for the comment, though. Anyway,
That's funny.
this week, as the hat would suggest, we're talking about the holidays, and we kind of just pulled together some interesting stories and fun, like, history-ish things to just have some
Yeah,
fun and talk
history,
about.
cultural
Yeah,
stories, just a
exactly.
hodgepodge of things. Like
Yeah,
this podcast, it's a hodgepodge
yeah,
of
it's a hodgepodge of everything.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So Nick, what
Hmm.
is? There's a lot of story. There's a lot of different traditions around the world. There's a lot of different
Yeah.
stories. Um, in looking up anything, or was there something before this that you thought of that, like, oh, that's interesting, I want to talk about that, or what did you find while looking for this? Like,
Hmm.
what's the one thing that you really thought was the most interesting?
I think when I was looking through different, like cultural things, I've always been interested in um Krampus and just like
Yeah.
the origins of the story, which the origin is kind of unclear. Um, Anthropologists have kind of figured out that it's probably like pre-Christian origins, and
Hmm.
then it kind of became associated with Saint Nicholas and but this one was always interesting to me because I've seen videos of like Krampus parades in like Austria, I think
Mm-hmm.
Austria and different
Yeah.
places. Um, but so Krampus is usually pictured as like a horned, almost like devil-like
Yeah.
creature-ish
Mm-hmm.
figure, and it's very like Central and Eastern European, from my understanding, which is limited because
Yeah.
I'm insufficient.
Insufficient.
Um,
It says it right.
but the
It says it.
story is
You can see the
like,
you can see the reflection in my little thing right there. So right next to my
yeah.
head. It's always there.
um,
But anyway.
but so Krampus is like in a lot of the stories, because like with any, tradition like this, there's different iterations, different versions. There's not like one Krampus.
Yeah.
But in I think the most popular version of this, Krampus night or Krampus not, um, December 5th and 6th. So Krampus will accompany Saint Nicholas around to visit children.
Okay.
And if the child has been good, Saint Nicholas will reward the child with gifts, like small gifts.
Okay.
And
Normal Santa Claus
if
stuff.
they
Yeah.
like behaved badly that year, this says Krampus punishes the badly behaved children with birch rods. So it's always just been like interesting to me, different cultures and their different traditions. So this is like, I think, essential in Eastern European thing,
Are we
but
talking like
I've always wanted to go to like a Krampus parade.
are
They
we
look very
talking
cool.
are we talking like, like whipping them with a little birch rod? Like, is that what we're talking about?
I think so.
Okay, interesting. Fun.
Yeah, so don't be naughty.
Yeah, no. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, it was just coal. That was the bad thing. And for some reason, light
Hmm.
switches. I don't know. I don't understand the light switch thing, but I remember
I
hearing
don't,
light
and I never
switches.
even understood the coal either.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
should have looked up the origin of that because I never understood that either. But yeah, so you don't want to get whipped by Krampus. So,
No, I don't want to get whipped by anything, let alone Krampus.
so be good.
Yeah. Um.
What did you find when you were reading about different cultural
So,
things?
uh, I hold on. I'm trying to find the coal thing, Santa coal
Mm.
history.
Yeah, and I know that stockings, like hanging stockings by the fireplace was kind of like an accident tradition too. I don't think it was meant to be. So then I was like, well, if that was an accident tradition, how did coal in the stocking become a thing? Because for stockings, I think I had read, and I don't have it pulled up, but I had read a brief little blurb about how like there was maybe it was Saint Nicholas or someone that visited children and would throw like money down the fireplace, and if they had hung a stocking by the fireplace to dry, like their laundry,
Uh huh.
it would land in the
Oh,
stocking,
yeah, that makes sense.
and then it became a thing.
Um, so the just a quick Google search. It says coal was. It talks about how coal was commonly used to heat homes. Um, so when it says when Santa came to visit, it was convenient to grab a lump of coal to leave for the children on his naughty list. So I guess he would take it. I guess he didn't actually bring coal. He just took it from like the family's like what they would use to heat their home and then just put it in there.
Okay.
But it doesn't really give much more. It says the
Yeah.
19th and 20th centuries, which
Did
is
you ever get anything in
just
your,
fine.
did you guys do stockings?
Yeah, stockings was like a whenever we did uh, whenever there was Christmas presents. So I don't know how your family had their Christmas presents. All my parents always had the like stuff that they had bought was wrapped and under the tree like whenever it was wrapped. So
Hmm.
it may be like 3 weeks before Christmas, but there's just
Yeah.
presents under the tree, and then the stockings were up, and then Christmas morning the stockings would have like a lot of times like lottery scratchers or like a CD and candy and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
there was always the when Santa came, there was always the present from Santa in front of everything else that wasn't wrapped. It was the one,
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
unwrapped. Everything else was wrapped, and that was everything from mom and dad and grandma, grandpa, and all that kind of stuff.
I think
But
ours was um they were all wrapped. Maybe we should have given a trigger warning in case there's any children listening to this. Um
yeah, kids, kids,
but
don't listen. Parents, don't let your kids listen to this because Santa Claus
I
is
Santa Claus is very
great.
real. And Santa would give us um gifts that were wrapped in a different wrapping paper than my parents, so we knew it was
Okay.
from Santa.
Yeah, see,
But they were all wrapped.
ours, uh, yeah, Santa never wrapped anything when he came to our house. He just dropped it off, and it
He
was just
just
sitting there.
dropped it down the
Just
chimney.
dropped it down the chimney. Just dropped it down the chimney. Um,
And we did leave like milk and cookies out, I think, a few
hmm
times. And yeah, in our stockings we would get chapstick candy,
Yeah,
little
it was
little
that like
things.
little things. Yeah.
Um, One thing that always interested me was after the Great Depression, or and during it too. Obviously, there wasn't, a lot of money in a lot of households, and fruit in your stockings became a big tradition.
Oh.
And that kind of continued for a lot of families. And one of my coworkers actually had a funny story of he went off to college and his parents still mailed him fruit
Oh.
as like their tradition, but the fruit
Okay.
rotted in the mail. So I thought that was funny. But that was an interesting thing too. The
Okay.
different, when you can't put candy and treats and
Yeah.
things, you just
Fruit. Hey,
fruit.
I
And
like
that was
fruit.
the
Fruit's
delicacy
sweet.
at the time.
Yeah, fruit's sweet. It's always good. I love fruit. Um,
Hmm.
so the story that I always thought was interesting is Um, it's it's a Scandinavian folklore character that's
Hmm.
uh, Fionison, I think is how you say it. It's obviously Scandinavian, so I'm not very good at pronouncing this, so
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Um, or it's also known as a barn gnome or barn Santa, and it is a there's reportedly there's one in every barn. They take care of the animals, they take care of the chores and all this kind of stuff, but they can't, like humans can't see them.
Oh,
But
okay.
every year, the people will put a bowl of porridge out around Christmas
Ooh.
time for them to thank them for their help. Um,
Interesting.
It's kind of like a Santa character, except they're like elf sized from what it seems like a really small,
Hmm.
kind of really small man with a pointy hat, and he wears all gray, and he's kind of like always angry, like
Interesting.
they're ill
There are
tempered.
so many cultures that have versions of fairies and
Mm-hmm.
little things like that.
Yeah.
Like in the southern US and western US, there's like Tommyknockers, which are basically like little fairies in like
Mm-hmm.
mines and caves and things. And then so many other places have like actual just different versions of fairies. So that's interesting. Little gray men
Yeah.
and
Well,
probably
they're
aliens.
like dressed in gray, so they're like little people.
Oh.
They're like little gnomes. I mean, they're like little gnomes because it says they're not higher than your knee. So they're
Oh, okay.
like little
Yeah.
gnomes that just dress in gray, and they're always in a bad mood. They're kind of mischievous and just kind of,
Huh.
yeah. That's kind of one of the ones that I thought was interesting, and I've always thought was kind of
Yeah.
funny. Um, Another thing that I found is kind of funny to me was a tradition in Japan, because Japan isn't they don't really celebrate Christmas,
I think I know what you're going to talk about, but
but
continue.
KFC
Yeah.
is so big in Japan, because in, I guess, the 70s they ran like a festive marketing campaign. So, and the slogan was like Kentucky for Christmas, is basically what it translated to.
Yeah.
And now people will go on Christmas Eve to KFC to get like a special Christmas Eve meal, which is hilarious.
Hmm.
Which is just
It
hilarious.
is.
Uh,
It is. Yeah. It's like making fun of American
yeah,
culture,
I
and I'm
mean,
I'm
like,
honestly here for
who
it.
doesn't love the Colonel's? What is it? 11 herbs and spices or something like that. I don't remember how many it is, but something
Yeah.
like that. Like, that's just fun. Um,
Hmm.
And as I was looking to one of the other things, and this took me back to when we were talking about the Olympics a while back.
Hmm.
Um, Russia in the winter. This has nothing to do with Christmas, but Russia celebrates um, uh, New Year's twice. They celebrate the um, like the new year, like the normal New Year, like everybody else on the 31st of December,
Hmm.
going into the first. They also celebrate um, the old New Year on January 14th, which is based on the Julian calendar. And if you'll remember correctly,
Oh.
when we were talking about the Olympics, there was one year when they were late to the Olympics because they were going off the
Oh,
Julian calendar,
the wrong
and
calendar.
everybody else was
Hmm.
going off the Gregorian calendar, I think. And so they
Hmm.
were like 12 days late to all the events, so they didn't
That's
actually
funny.
get to compete, which is funny. And that just made me think of that, which is just kind of like, I don't know, like we just, at that point it just seems like we're different to be different, but
Yeah.
more more power to you because it's
Hmm.
fun. I mean, why not celebrate uh uh New Year's twice?
Hmm. Yeah. Another one that I found was in Ireland. So you know how they have the polar bear dies or polar
Oh yeah, the
bear
plunges.
whatever
Yeah.
they're called
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
polar
polar
bear
bear plunge.
plunge.
Yeah.
That from what I can tell originated in Ireland like 40 years ago, and now it's like a thing. People will take a swim in the cold water on Christmas Day in
Okay.
Ireland. And
Is it?
yeah, it's just became a thing, and
Is there a
nowadays
reason?
it's like people are like,
It's for
it has
charity
health
usually.
benefits, and
Yeah, and a lot of times it's
here
for
it's for
charity.
charity a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so health benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, they say cold plunge
Hmm.
is like good for your body. A lot of
Yeah, and
athletes
I
will
have
do
no
it and stuff.
idea. I
So
don't know if that's a fad science or if that's real, but
yeah, I don't
that
know.
was interesting. So that's in Ireland.
Um,
Mhm.
Also, the Netherlands. This was interesting. Is leaving shoes by the fire to have your shoes filled with presents, which is kind of like stockings, but
Yeah.
shoes is just, it's a little. I mean, stockings are socks, so I guess it's not that much different. Um,
How
but
big are
yeah.
your shoes though? You're only gonna get like half a present.
Well, I mean, I wear a size 13, so my shoe's
Well,
pretty
but
good
imagine a
size.
child.
Well, oh yeah, that's true. Little tiny feet.
I would
Speaking
find like those
Shack
boots that are
shoes.
like the ones that you take to wade
Oh
in the
yes,
swamp.
yeah.
Nathan has those. I would take his boot because it's like massively tall.
So when
Give me 20
I
presents.
when we went to Springfield for our little road trip a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
I went and I visited family because I have family that lives in Springfield, and that's what I visited them also while I was down there. And my grandpa, speaking of shoes, my grandpa gave my dad a couple pairs of shoes that were his when he was a child. His when he was a child. And the reason I do
Uh-huh.
this when I say he was a child, like air quotes, for those of you listening and not watching on YouTube, air quotes around he was a child, is my grandfather gave my dad a pair of shoes for a doll and told him they were his when he was a kid. And these are like little round shoes. There's like no way for your it's like goes down
Yeah.
like this. So there's no way for your toes to actually fit in there. It's not shaped like a foot. Um
Yeah.
it's shaped like a nubbin. And I made the comment as we were sitting there and he was saying this. I'm like, those, are you sure? Because those look like a doll's shoes. And my grandpa's like, yeah, they're yours. They're his. These was when he was just a little baby. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And my stepmom confirmed when my dad took them home. He's like, yeah, my dad says these were my shoes. She's like, no, those are the shoes for a Cabbage Patch Kid. Like, they're not. No, they
Yeah.
were no human shoes.
I would understand if it was like the outfit off of a doll because
I
those
could get
genuinely
that.
could fit a child,
Yeah.
a
And
baby.
they're like regular clothes. Like I get that. Like a
Yeah.
Cabbage Patch Kid has like regular clothes. That I get. The
Hmm.
shoes are not shaped like human feet, though.
No, no, they're not. That's funny.
Which was I thought
Um,
was hilarious. Speaking of shoes, so you know.
yeah. The other thing that I read about was the history of the Christmas tree, and it's like cultural. So in Europe and some of the Scandinavian and what is now the UK and places like that. So the Christmas tree originated from pagan celebrations, and then the Christians adopted it. And then, but then when the Puritans in Massachusetts, after they banned it in like 1659 because they didn't want like any celebration. It was like you go to church and that's it, like no
Yeah.
other fun.
Yeah. We
Um,
basically banned Christmas.
but
Yeah.
yeah, in 1846, so Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, um, they took a picture and it was in the London News, and they were standing around the Christmas tree with their kids, and that's what caused the boom again
Hmm.
of like using Christmas trees again. I thought that was interesting. It like
Yeah.
migrated coast to coast and
Yeah.
then came back,
That's
and
interesting.
now it's like when you think of Christmas, you think of a tree. That literally,
Yeah.
most people that's the first thing they think of.
Yeah.
But that was interesting how
That's
like even though different cultures have very specific traditions, there are all these overlapping, overarching themes.
yeah. There's always there's always things that kind of match up no matter what it is. Yeah. That kind of just keep going, keep stay around
Mhm.
whenever you go somewhere, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't have a Christmas tree because mine like fell apart a couple years ago, and I haven't uh, bought another one yet.
Yeah.
But I do like a Christmas
We didn't
tree.
do one. I had that tabletop one when we went to IKEA that one time
Oh yeah,
together. I had the tabletop one, but I donated it to Goodwill when we moved
I
because
get
it was
that.
like $22.
Yeah,
And well, we will probably buy one when our house is done being built.
yeah,
We'll probably get one and have
um,
like our first Christmas in the new house, but we
yeah.
haven't really celebrated Christmas the last couple of years.
I get that. I have always just done lights on a tree. Well, since I've been
Hmm.
an adult and like living on my own. Because I just like the lights on a tree. Like I use them as like the light in my house instead of turning on all the other lights at night, which
Yeah.
is kind of nice. Like I also do it
Hmm.
with the garland that I have sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
it's just something different and it's pretty. But
It's aesthetic.
I haven't really done ornaments. Um,
I like the ornaments. I've never bought ornaments, but all the childhood ornaments that we've made,
Mm,
which is like, I mean, my dad has like two boxes of
yeah.
handmade things, or like the picture ornaments, or,
Mm-hmm.
I have an ornament from a picture of me in like high school band. It was like a fundraiser. So I like those, and that's what I would
Yeah.
probably, take from him to put on our tree. But as far as like having an aesthetic tree, I've never had that. Ours has always been a clustered, that
We
word of a tree.
we had two trees in our house. We had one upstairs and one downstairs. The one upstairs in the main living room,
Mm,
or I guess whatever way the house was done. One in the main living
hmm.
room, another one in like the like media TV room,
Like
whatever.
family room, or
Family
yeah.
room,
Hmm.
yeah. And the one that was in the main living room was like a my parents had bought like it was like a 9 foot tree, and they had gotten like um, specific ornaments that were all a set, so they all looked it all
Hmm.
matched, it all looked nice.
Hmm.
And then the one that was in the like living room where we like had TV and stuff was all the random ornaments, like the ones that I made as a
Hmm.
kid, the ones that my little brother made, the like ones that we bought on vacation and stuff like that was all on that
Yeah.
tree. I have a bunch of ornaments because when I worked at Pier 1 for eight
Yeah.
years or whatever, I would buy, um, every year they used to give us like $50 in like Pier 1 bucks or whatever, like
Hmm.
just money to spend in the store. And I would always
Yeah.
buy their like, there was a type of ornament that they carried for years that you couldn't find in a lot of places, but it's they're all little glass ornaments and they're all painted. There's a different scenes that are painted on them,
Hmm.
but they're all painted from
Hmm.
the inside. So they
Um,
like paint it with a little brush from the inside, which is kind of cool.
hmm.
And each year there's different scenes and it would have the year on them. So I have I have enough of those to put on a tree to like fill a
Yeah.
tree, but I just never have actually done it. So we'll see. Maybe
Hmm.
one day I will, but
Yeah. Do you do anything special for Christmas?
not generally. Um, my mom usually visits on Christmas or around Christmas.
Hmm.
And we spend like, the weekend or the day together or whatever.
Hmm.
But I work overnights, so I'm off Christmas Day with that, but I have to
Yeah.
be in bed by like 1 in the afternoon to get up to go to
Yeah.
work the next day. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of just another day for the most part for me. Cause like you said, I don't
Mhm.
have kids. I don't, so there's
Hmm.
no,
Yeah, I don't know we're gonna have to like make new traditions or something because we used to go to midnight mass and we used to have monkey bread in the mornings with my parents. But
mm,
like you said, it's different when you're little.
yeah.
We are gonna go to my parents this year, and I did request monkey bread, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Hmm?
But one thing that I would like to start, because we've only been married a year and a half now,
Yeah.
and so next year, once the house is built, I think we're gonna just start doing our own traditions.
Yeah.
One thing I really want to do, but Casey would absolutely hate, and I've already taken him to the ballet once and he hated it, but I would like to go see the Nutcracker every year
Okay.
because I took my dad one year,
Mm-hmm.
because my mom and brother are, like Casey, have zero interest. And my dad also has zero interest, but he's really nice to me
Yeah.
and plays along.
Yeah.
So he went with me and I loved it. I don't think he liked it at all. But I I love that story. It's like, and well, I know that the ballet is different than the original Nutcracker story that was
Yeah.
written in 1816, but the whole thing is like a really pretty, whimsical fever dream to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it is.
Like I swear the guy that wrote the original Nutcracker story, what is his name? He was Prussian, I know that. E.T.A. Hoffman. Like, I think he had lead poisoning or something because this whole thing is like just a wild fever dream trip
They
down like three different arenas of storytelling, and but I love it. It's very interesting to me.
all
And I like the
those
ballet.
old um all those old fairy tales are that way. Like all those old fables are that
Yes.
way. Like have you ever looked or read the actual story of like Alice in Wonderland? Because it's trippy. Like
No, I haven't.
they're weird and the characters are weird. Like if you can find
Uh-huh.
the photos of they're it is trippy. And most of them
Yeah.
have like very dark themes um
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like this one is so it's not really like a super super dark story as much as some of the other fairy tales
yeah,
and I know you're thinking of like Beauty and the Beast
Grimm's
and or
fairy
not
tales. Yeah.
Snow White and things like that and Sleeping
Yeah.
Beauty. But yeah, the Grimm's fairy tales.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you. This one isn't as bad, but it's still like
It's
an 8-year-old girl getting married and like
yeah.
weird things and
Yeah.
mice fighting. Like it's just it's weird.
It's a fever dream. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
it's crazy. Um I've never actually seen the ballet.
Hmm.
Um I wouldn't have a problem going to see it. I did go with my
Well, maybe we should go next
grandparents.
year.
We could do that. That'd be fun.
Hmm.
We could do an episode on
New
it.
tradition.
There you go. I went with my grandparents years ago to see the Rockettes. So I have
Ooh.
seen the Rockettes for Christmas. I have seen their Christmas
Hmm.
thing. Um, and then I have gone to. I saw Mannheim Steamroller one year when I was in college, which is just a. I just saw their Christmas show because they're a big Christmas
Hmm.
music band, and then I've seen
Yeah, I like them.
the Trans Siberian Orchestra I think twice around
Hmm.
Christmas time because their Christmas music
Yeah,
is
both those are good.
um, the
Yeah.
most iconic ones. But yeah, but that's
Hmm.
I love Christmas stuff. I'm not
Hmm.
like an overly religious person, but for some
Yeah.
reason, like Christmas is just it feels different.
It's
It falls
I've
outside
noticed.
of like it
Yeah.
encompasses more than just the religion. Like there is religion to it,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
original like story of Jesus Christ's birth and all that kind of stuff. But
What
you
I've
know,
noticed is, and I've noticed this as an adult, obviously I didn't notice this as a kid, but even people who don't, aren't religious, don't celebrate, it's like the whole month of December feels like, obviously nowadays you've got people like, oh my God, it's so stressful. Family, which I
yeah,
totally get. It is stressful to see everyone and do everything, and it's a lot.
hmm
But I think just the month of December in general, it's like people's spirits are higher.
hmm
There's like, it's more, people are more generous.
yeah,
They're just like more giving, which is like how I am all year long. But it's like nice to have other people come aboard the like
yeah,
happy go lucky train too sometimes. So I think that's what I like about it is even if you don't celebrate Christmas for Christmas, like we don't really celebrate Christmas for Christmas,
yeah,
but it's just the spirit of it. I
yeah.
like the spirit of the season, I guess.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And I like the lights. I love looking at Christmas lights. Like I love the decorations.
Yeah.
It's just pretty
Mhm.
and I like it. But anyway, I
Yeah.
think it's time for facts unless you have
Yeah.
something else. I think we're going to go facts. Um yeah. Nick, what's your fact for this week?
So my fact is candy canes originated in Germany.
Okay.
So the National Confectioners Association,
Mhm.
which is a thing apparently, says a choir master originally gave the red and white striped candies to young children to keep them quiet during the marathon church services back in 1670. And then it wasn't until a German Swedish immigrant decorated his tree with the candy canes in 1847 that they became more massively popular as Christmas candy.
Okay. Yeah, I've always
Which makes
seen
sense.
yeah,
Keeping the kids quiet.
yeah, I mean, I'd be quiet eating a candy cane too. I love candy canes. Um, I would like to have a like fresh handmade sometime. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a handmade
Um,
one.
I haven't either. I know they're really popular, and this being again me being a Disney adult, they're really popular at Disney because every
Mhm.
year there's like at Disneyland, there's like 10 days or so between the beginning of December and Christmas where they hand pull candy canes every day at the confectionery. Like they hand make
Hmm.
them and they will sell out within like they'll have like a 30-minute line to get a candy cane and they'll sell out by like
Interesting.
noon. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'd be really they're also huge. Like the ones they make are like
Are
a
they?
foot and a half long. Like they're massive candy canes. But I would love to
Yeah.
have a
Are they just peppermint?
I think so. I think they're just
I
like
like I'm okay with peppermint. I don't love it though,
I
but
love
I
mint.
like the cherry ones. I like when
Okay.
they're flavored cherry.
I love mint.
Those are my favorite.
I've tried like a bunch, Starburst flavor,
Hmm.
like whatever.
Yeah.
But my favorite is the just the standard peppermint, like the red and white
Yeah.
striped peppermint ones. So I don't get them really ever, like because I don't.
Mhm.
They come in like a pack of 12, and I'm not gonna probably eat 12. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't
I
really.
might eat one if like someone gives it to me as
Yeah.
part of a gift or work or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And usually the best ones are the little tiny ones because you
Yes.
can eat just like pop it in your mouth and it's done. Like it's going.
Yes. I agree. I
Um
like the little ones. Hmm.
yeah. So going through our my fun fact, uh going through our little research, I did find something from France which I thought was interesting. Apparently
Mm.
they celebrate Christmas festivities a lot that end on January 6th, which celebrates the uh, the three magi's visits to baby Jesus, which is interesting that that they it's more of I'm guessing the three magi are the three wise men. I'm guessing I don't really know, but
Hmm.
um,
I would assume
yeah, that's what it seems like to me. I don't really know. Insufficient friends. Remember,
three
we don't look up this stuff.
magicians.
Yeah. Um, they're more celebrating their visit than um, the actual birth, which is interesting. I
Mm.
thought.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. I think that's it for this week. Nick, do you? I think that's it. You have anything else?
Think that's it?
That's
Nope.
it. Okay. Well, guys, again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. We hope it's a great one. We're actually doing a special movie episode this week. Nick's joining me, and that's going to come out on Christmas Day. So, stay tuned for that in a couple days because it's more holiday stuff. The hat will probably continue to be on my head just like this. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.